Just because you're traveling this summer does not mean you need to leave your first aid kit supplies behind. Take your first aid kit with you when you travel this summer. This is going to be a TSA approved. It'll get through airport security. First aid kit you can throw into your backpack as you travel. Let's build this thing. Hey, welcome back to another episode of The One Row. My name is David, and today we're talking about doing first aid kits that you can actually take through airport security as you travel this year. Now, yes, it's through airport security, but it's also good for almost any other time. Before we dive into it, thank you so much to our Patreon community for your continued support. Really appreciate y'all. And if you end up enjoying this video, please smash that like button, the YouTube stuff, the notifications, all that good stuff. It really does help the channel, and it means the world because I see that the content that I'm making is of interest to you. So thank you so much. Now, unlike other things where I pulled out a pre-done pack, we're going to build this thing together. I actually have not put this together yet. I bought this shell case off of Amazon, and it came with nothing. Now, when you're talking about first aid kits, you can buy pre-built ones from different websites and Amazon and other places, but I've only found a few that meet what I'm looking for. Now, there's like trauma kits that I found that are actually pretty good that I can throw as onto my LBE or onto my pistol belt or something that I'm really happy with. But this is a very kind of special build because it has to be TSA safe. There's certain things that I want to be in the kit that may not otherwise come in kits like this. So I wanted to custom build it, but I wanted to do it also cheap. I kind of had a set budget for this. I didn't want to go over too much money. Came up with this. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it all fits in this little case I bought. It's going to be a tight fit, I think, but we'll have some fun doing it. Now, I do have to say right up front, first aid kits are not survival kits. They are to augment. So in the last video, I showed you my travel emergency kit. And this is essentially going to be my travel first aid kit. Now, it's replacing a much smaller kit that had much less capability with a much better set of capabilities that still fits into a small case that I can literally just throw into my backpack with my laptop and my other carry-on stuff and meet a lot of the needs that I'm particularly looking for when I travel. All right, now when I came into the filming area, the space I use for filming, I literally had a cardboard box full of this stuff, something over there, this, and it was just thrown together. So we're going to kind of go through it in a very unorganized way, and then we're going to build it. Like I'm going to show you everything, and then we're going to build it. So I bought this shell case off Amazon. It was about 10 bucks. It is, I want to say 7 inches by 5 inches maybe, and about maybe 2¼ inches. And so it's fairly small, soft shell case. It's got a little bit of netting in there, which I really like. Some of them only have like little straps, and I find those to be less optimal. But anyway, we'll run with this. I did buy a set of trauma shears. Now, some of you may say you can't carry these on to flights. TSA says that you can carry scissors on flights if they are not pointy edges, and if from the joint of the scissor to the end is less than 4 inches. Now, that being said, every time you go through security, you're going to have different TSA agents, and they're going to have different interpretations and understandings. You may know the rules better than they do, but it doesn't matter because they may confiscate them. These are mini ones, so this is actually 5½ inches in total. And from here to here, the actual blade, right? The blade right here is only about 1½ inches. So they're very small trauma shears. Sharpies are super useful to have. We'll see if we can squeeze that one in here. A little flashlight. I find that flashlights are incredibly helpful when you're dealing with first aid stuff because no matter what you're doing, you're not going to have enough light. There's just not going to be enough. And so having a little flashlight, this is a Through Night Archer. This used to be my EDC carry pocket flashlight, but I've actually upgraded to a different one now that's a little bit brighter, a little thicker, but this nice little thin one, this little one should fit very nicely into my case, and it is rechargeable. It's got an internal battery, charges off of USB-C. I want to say I paid about $22, $25. If you're looking for a very small EDC flashlight, this thing is fantastic. I carried this for years. You can tell by all the wear along the paint. It used to be green, and now it's just kind of green and metallic because I literally carried this every day for a couple of years. Love that one. One package of a 2-foot package of Quick Clot, which Obviously, it's to stop traumatic blood loss, and it's not a huge one, but it is some. It's some quick clot. When you deal with a first aid kit of this size, you are compromising. Like I talked about in my travel emergency kit, you're going to have to compromise in order to make this stuff work in a compact thing. If you wanted to carry a much bigger first aid kit, you could. And maybe that's something you want to do. It's, if you're, it's up to you, is what your tolerance is. This is my tolerance. This is how much space I have in my backpack for first aid. 2 medications. When you travel, it's important. A lot of times when you get into different countries, different waters, different foods, you get exposed to different stomach bacteria and other types of bacteria. And so this is Pepto-Bismol tablets to help your stomach, basically when things are coming in and it's uncomfortable, they help you that way. This is Imodium AD, and it's so when things are leaving your body, it's more comfortable. So protect both ends of your esophagus and other stuff. So anyway, when you're traveling, I highly recommend you carry these because they're really helpful. Next up is a tourniquet. Now, I could have gone with a cat tourniquet. I've got a ton of those sitting around, but I actually ended up going with a SWAT tourniquet. And the reason why, and I know that technically the cats are probably a little bit better for most things, but I went with the SWAT because of the really thin profile. And I wanted to be able to get a full tourniquet in and have it take up as little space as possible. And this seemed to be a little bit more space efficient than a cat tourniquet. So SWAT tourniquet. Up next, we have a vented chest seal. Now this is to basically when you have a hole in you, this is to help seal that. And one, it can help seal blood loss. But more importantly, it's for like sucking chest wounds. So when you puncture the lungs and you need to actually close that off so you can actually get compression in the lungs to actually breathe, this is super helpful. So I got one of those, and again, it's very, very thin, but I got one of those. And then I have a wound plasters. I don't even know what these are called, but it's basically a stitch kit. It's going to be hard to see on camera, but what this is 3 little zip tie stitch things. So the way that it works is that you put this one on one side of the wound, this one on the other side of the wound, right? And then you pull these little zip ties to close the wound. So if there's like a laceration type wound, you can actually close these up temporarily. It's not as good as real stitches, I get it. But in a traumatic situation, you're dealing with lots of blood loss, you need to close something up, you can't get to a doctor, super helpful. And it's fairly small, so I grabbed this, thought it would be helpful in here. And then we have a nasal pharyngeal, nasal airway thing. And basically, if you have massive face trauma and you have to help get air through to the lungs, and all of this is crushed up, the idea is that you can use this nasal pharyngeal thing. You slide, this is petroleum jelly to help it slide. And I have it taped to it so they stay together. And then you slide this up through the nose, back through, down into the esophagus, and then they can hopefully breathe. So it's to help something in those cases. And then for all of my other stuff, I'm talking my, my hydrocortisone cream, my alcohol, iodine wipes, regular Band-Aids, etc., I bought this. And this is a first aid refill kit. It was about 20 bucks on Amazon. It comes with 5 things of hand sanitizer, hydrocortisone cream, triple antibiotic ointment, burn cream, lip balm, antiseptic towelettes, alcohol prep wipes, sting relief pads, sterile gauze, different sizes and lengths, hypoallergenic tape, bandages. It's got a conforming bandage, a 10 fabric adhesive bandages of one size, knuckle, fingertips, elbow bandages. Then it comes with a set of small scissors, disposable nitrile gloves, cotton-tipped applicators, and a first aid guide. Why did I buy this? Because you can a lot of times buy these kits already pre-built. The reason is because I wanted to pull stuff from here, combine it with this stuff, which is more specialized and more real trauma, into one kit. And I felt like this was the right way to go. Now the problem is I can already tell this isn't fitting in here. So we're going to have to go through and figure out, I know everything that I have here I want to be in the kit, but how much of the little more simple, less trauma-oriented stuff can we fit in here? Let's find out. So again, I haven't even opened this up. I got it the other day. We're building this together. We're making things happen here on the one row. And okay, there we go. So let's see what we got. Oh, it all comes in one nice handy bag. Move that out of the way. Now that actually almost fits on one side. Is that possible? Did I luck out that much, or did I luck out? I planned this, guys. I planned this, right? Anyway, I might be able to fit all of that in one side if I can fit all of this on the other. Maybe. I don't need the booklet. That's what I don't need. So let me pull the booklet out. A deluxe first aid supply booklet. Ooh, symptoms. If you have a burn, use the burn cream. Not helpful, but thanks. So here we got some different size gauzes. And so we got 2 of each size. We've got some cotton tipped applicators. Those are questionable as to whether those will make the cut or not. We have some tape. Tape's always helpful. Now in my emergency kit, I have some duct tape, but this is sterile surgical tape, which might be helpful. These are actually like real scissors, so might be worth keeping, but maybe on the questionable side, we'll see. Nitrile gloves. Probably want to put those in there. Then we've got some standard Band-Aids. Then we have, are those the knuckle ones? And then some triangle bandages, and then more of like an elbow conforming bandage thing. So those are probably all keeps. So I'm kind of sorting it as I go. Basic wrap gauze. Want to keep that. That's helpful to have. I'm not sure I care too much about having lip balm in here. So that's on the cutting table. We'll see if that makes it or not. Do want to have some alcohol prep pads. Don't know if I need 10 of them, but we'll see. Then we have sting relief pads, and again, there's 8 of those. That seems like a lot, unless there's a swarm of bees. Might be able to cut that down some, but let's put those over there. We'll make decisions later. BZK antiseptic towelettes. Triple antibiotic ointments. Those are always kind of nice to have when you're doing minor cuts and stuff. Then we have some hand sanitizer, and frankly, I don't care too much about the hand sanitizer being in the first aid kit. Burn cream, that's actually pretty helpful. So the burn creams, let's put these over here, and then I've got hydrocortisone cream, itch relief. That's actually, for traveling, that's actually a really nice one to have. But let's start loading up here. Let's get the traumatic stuff, because to me, the traumatic stuff is more important, because if I have a small little boo-boo, I can live with a small boo-boo, hold a towel, go to the first aid station at the resort, or go to, a clinic or whatever if I absolutely have to. I mean, geez, I can use a paper towel to stop it, and just put some duct tape over it if I really have to. So the more traumatic stuff I find to be more important. So let's see if we can start squeezing stuff in here. So I want the stitch thing in here, the chest seal. I'm going to take the tourniquet and put it, I want to try to get that at the very end if possible, just because I want quick access to that one, because that's like a first step in a lot of emergency situations, is applying a tourniquet. So there's the nasopharyngeal thing. So yeah, then we can put the tourniquet and the gloves. Trauma shears I will put pretty close to the front as well. So that's pretty packed up on this side. Now that still leaves my Pepto-Bismol and Imodium AD. Painkillers, you might be asking about those. I always carry a small thing of Advil, Tylenol in my backpack. So I didn't include painkiller in this side because I kind of have painkiller already. And again, this first aid kit isn't standalone. It's redundant, or not redundant, but it's a portion of my overall preparedness, which includes my everyday carry stuff, what's in my backpack when I travel, and what's in my checked bag when I travel. Now, I want first aid stuff to be in my backpack, because if the check stuff's on the plane and there's still a problem on the plane, I want to be able to access my first aid kit, right? I mean, it's unlikely there's going to be a problem on the plane, but it's how I feel. All right, now on the flashlight, I'm going to throw that in here on the bottom as well. Actually, I'm going to throw it on the top. What do we want on this side? On this side, I want obviously my gauzes and my Band-Aids. Now, I don't need 10 of these Band-Aids, 12 of these Band-Aids. How many of these are there? There's a lot of those Band-Aids. I don't need all of those. So what do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 of them. I'm going to keep 4, 5, 6. We'll keep 6. We'll get rid of 4, put them over here, and I'll use them in another kit at some point. The other Band-Aids, the odd size ones, I do want those. Those actually are really handy. I was looking for one of these big elbow ones like this size the other day. At a kid's sporting event, got a busted knee and couldn't play until they had it covered. The wound was bleeding on the field. Had to deal with that. I didn't have one, and I was very embarrassed that me as a preparedness person, I didn't have the right size Band-Aid for my kid's wound, and I had to get help. So, but that's how it rolls sometimes. All right, so I got all of those bandages in here. Next priority is the medication. I've got to get the medication in there. That is when you're traveling. This is again a travel one. I would much rather have that, as I'm more likely to have an upset stomach than I am to get stung by bees. I haven't been stung by a bee in, actually, it's only been a couple years. I haven't been stung by a bee in 20 years. I got stung by a bee like 3 years ago. There were some ground hornets, and I was doing yard work, and I ended up having to run and jump in the pool. I was fully clothed and just literally dove into the pool because got chafed. Anyway, long story. It was funny. You'd have loved to see it. Hydrocortisone cream, traveling itchiness sucks. Let's throw that in there. Sting relief pads, 6 of those. We'll go with 6 of those and throw those over there. Then for the alcohol prep pads, we'll keep 3 of those. Well, it's totally 6 there because they're paired, right? So it's 3 packs, 6. There's 6 total. And then let's do of these BKZs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go with 6 of those. Okay, I'm going to take the medication and move that out and put those in last. These wipes are going to go in here. Let's throw into here. We'll throw into hydrocortisone, all of them. I want all of those because, again, I'm traveling. If you're doing foreign travel or whatever, you want to have as much of the anti-itch stuff because that just drives you crazy. Hand sanitizer. I've got hand sanitizer in my backpack, so I'm less worried about that. So let's throw in all 5 of the triple antibiotics and all 5 of the burn creams. We're getting to be fairly packed, right? But I can still close it so we can squeeze in a little bit more. All right, I'm throwing in the special tape. I think there's room for it down here by that round gauze. So now we got that down here. We got the gauze strip. We got the other stuff. I can still close this up. Still close it. It's squeezing it. Where's their space? When you start to close this up, you can actually feel where there's gaps. Like it's really thick right here in the middle, but right here that's not. So let's see if we can squeeze in these Pepto-Bismol pills over on this side. The Imodium AD, I'll stick into this side. There's some space over here. I like to have all the medication together if possible, but it's not going to work. It fit. So we have this, guys. We've done it. Let's close it up. So here you have it, a TSA safe first aid kit. You can get through your airport security, throw it in your backpack. You don't have to worry about it. There's no knives in here, but it still gives you a lot of capability to deal with severe trauma all the way down to little minor boo-boos. So it's a good boo-boo kit. Was it expensive? Not really. The case was $10. The first aid refill pack was like $25. I bought the scissors were about $6. The trauma shears were about $6. The nasal pharyngeal thing was like $5 or $6. The chest vent was about 10. I had to buy 2-pack for 15. So actually it was only about 8 for the chest seal. The SWAT tourniquet was about 15 to 18, I believe. The quick clot was the most expensive thing at 20, 25, 26 for one. They're just expensive. And maybe it was for 2. And then the little suture things, the little stitch kit thing was about, I want to say it came in a 2-pack. And I want to say it was about $20 for both. So about 10 for that. Now, you may disagree with me, you first aid experts out there, because I am not a first aid expert. You are first aid experts. What did I miss? What would you squeeze in here that I didn't include? I would love to know. Leave a comment below because obviously I'm not perfect at this. I didn't even get the Sharpie in here. My goodness. Sharpies are great to have, but it doesn't fit. So we'll worry about it another time. But what are some things that I left out that you think I should have included? What would you change for this kind of space kit? Obviously, having to get through TSA. What am I missing? First aid kits are important. They're part of your preparedness gear. You should have one on you if at all possible, wherever you go, whether it's your EDC or some other situation. But That being said, thanks for watching the video. Appreciate all of you. Let me know what I can do to improve, because we're on this preparedness journey together. We'll see you next time.